Rose, are you still there? Rose, do you hear me? I'm in the security center. Okay, then I'll just do it alone. Uninvited guests.
Radio. Museum have now fundamentalist groups claiming responsibility are pouring in, but police have not been able to verify their authenticity. Just a few hours ago, the Harding Museum was the scene of a firefight with suspected terrorists, in which more than 20 staff members were killed. A few hours later, a number of explosive devices were detonated, causing fire to break out in several places. Radical groups had protested an upcoming exhibition at the Harding Museum, in which action...
All stations! We lost a man!
...will be displayed. Always on the spot for you. This is Ian Schweitzer, RF Radio.
The door clicked shut behind me, but that didn't matter. From the room ahead, I heard soft music. In the meantime, the sun had risen, and bright and deadly light shone into the room through the skylight. But my focus was on the man who was sitting there playing the piano. That had to be Steiner.
Thank you, but I think I would rather speak to my guest alone. Well, you've come a long way for a half-vampire. Frightening, the way you so easily got through my security system.
I'm just good.
Is that so? Well, I cannot really disagree with you, not after you've made it to my office. But I am keenly interested as to why you are here at all. Tell me, what brings you to my humble home?
Are you Victor Steiner?
That is correct. I am Victor Steiner. This is my club. And those were my security personnel and my ghouls you killed. But I guess you already knew who you were dealing with. Anything else would be surprising.
I would like to know more about vampires.
Really? Well, it's quite commendable that you want to learn more about us and yourself. Please proceed. What would you like to know?
Tell me about your vampire abilities.
Good try. But I'm sure you'll find out soon enough.
Are there vampires older than you?
Most certainly. If the world has taught me anything over the centuries, it is that nothing is impossible. But I think that it is sufficient for you to know that I am the oldest and most powerful vampire in this area.
Tell me about Vampire Society.
Vampire Society? A very broad topic. To my regret, there is no real Vampire Society. Each of us, unfortunately, has a very healthy selfishness that keeps him from forming anything like a community with others. We are all born loners. There are simply a few rules we follow, such as keeping humanity ignorant of our existence. But otherwise, our society is pure anarchy. I suspect that you have come from Sanctuary. Who else would have sent you to me? That is a unique endeavor. Vampires who support one another. It's a pity I'm going to destroy them for sending you here.
I have no further questions.
Really? Well then.
I need some of your blood.
Ah, blood. Did your creator leave you behind alone? Well, I could offer you a place amongst my ghouls, but I doubt that the offer would interest you. So, if you want my blood, I'm certain you'll want to offer me something in return. Am I right?
I have information.
Information? That's interesting. Very interesting. Though I have my doubts that a half-blood can tell me anything relevant. But carry on. What can you offer me?
I can tell you something about Vlad.
About Vlad? Vlad is dead. What is there to care about? Moreover, you do not seem to realize that Vlad was working for me.
I can tell you about the Sanctuary.
Ah, yes, the Sanctuary. Do you really think that you can tell me anything my spies have not already written hundreds of pages about? I know enough about it. Thank you.
I can tell you something about Blooming.
About Blooming. Even if you hadn't killed him earlier tonight, there is nothing I would have cared to know about that misshapen creature anyway. In fact, I already know far too much about him. No, there's nothing I want to know about Blooming. You killed him, and he deserved to die. No one will miss him.
I'm afraid I don't have anything that would interest you.
This is most regrettable. I would dearly love to know something about the people who blew up the museum and the Geoforge Tower. I don't suppose you happen to know anything about them.
No, I had assumed that one of you did that to cover up the existence of vampires.
That would have been a very clumsy way indeed to go about it, don't you think? Well, I shall have to look into that again later.
I'll let you live.
Most generous. Yet I fear that you have either somewhat overestimated your own powers or underestimated mine. I assume that you had something to do with the events at the museum and at Geoforge. Am I right? I must admit that did impress me. Oh, Blooming was a weakling. But Vlad had potential. Strange that a half-blood could destroy him. Nevertheless, you underestimate me at this point. I fear you will find me a much more formidable enemy.
Enough talk.
Ah, do I sense a latent death wish? Good. Then let us begin.
When the fight started, I knew it was already lost. The sunlight should have been my ally, but Steiner seemed to be immune to it. On the other hand, it burned into my flesh like fire. My second death seemed inevitable. Light blinded me as soldiers stormed the hall. I had seen this equipment before. The burglars in the museum had been similarly equipped. The sun didn't bother Steiner one bit. The enemy's bullets were another story. Steiner hit the ground. The gunfire subsided, leaving an eerie silence. A luminous apparition entered the scene. I thought the angel had come to save me. I was wrong. It seemed the woman gave the soldiers their orders. Apparently they were only interested in Steiner. Good thing for me. I took the opportunity to make my escape. The passage through which the guards had come seemed to be my only chance. I ran and used my powers as best I could. My life depended on it. My pursuers' voices grew quieter and finally disappeared. Down here, it would take them forever to find me, hopefully. The rising sun forced me to sleep. As the sun went down once more, I awoke. I couldn't understand what had happened in Atlantis. Was there such a thing as vampire hunters? Rose was my only clue, again. I made my way to the sanctuary.
The sanctuary was in a seedy part of town destroyed by fire 15 years ago. Since then, it has been home to those who had no place else to go. They dubbed it the Hole. Rose? Can you hear me, Rose? No answer.